The G7 gathering underway in Kananaskis, Alberta, and it also features a raft of world leaders, India, South Korea, Brazil. Our own Prime Minister, Mr. Carney, met with U.S. President Donald Trump. Let's get more from Ella Kokotsis, Director of Accountability at the G7 group at the University of Toronto. I love this. Thank you very much for joining us. But one of your specialties as a researcher and writer is how closely countries actually adhere to what they say they'll do at these gatherings.
That's right, Andrew. We've been producing annual accountability reports at the G7 research group based at the University of Toronto since 1996. So we track very closely the outcomes from these meetings and then assess how the leaders actually deliver on those outcomes post-summit.
And you've been going to these summits since 1994, so you've seen them develop over the years. What are you in particular looking out for in terms of commitments that the country... Well, we know there isn't going to be a joint communique because of the occupant of the White House mainly, but what are you looking out for in tone from these world leaders?
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely right. I think there's a general consensus that an outcome document, a consensus document, will not be achievable, particularly given what happened last time when Canada hosted in Charlevoix and President Trump pulled out at the last minute from that communique. So instead, we're going to see a number of smaller documents focused around specific themes like wildfires, like energy security, like AI adoption, issues where the leaders are more likely to reach consensus. So if we can get agreement on those smaller outcome documents that are issue specific, I think that'll be a big win in Kananaskis this year.
It doesn't matter the commitments they make in the sense that they're often very vague and, you know, AI, they may pledge to monitor the situation and regulate it, but can they even?
Yeah, I mean, these are all really difficult, global issues. They transcend national boundaries. And this is why the Prime Minister has framed these issues in a way that it's important to Canadians, but also to the broader community. And I think what we're going to see as a result of these smaller statements that are issue specific is some tighter language around how to move some of these issues forward. How can they really coordinate on regulating AI, particularly content on the internet that is more explicit, which Donald Trump and his wife Melania are standing very firmly behind. So if they can get consensus around some of those issues, I think, again, we're likely to see tighter language and more robust commitments that we can actually track and measure after the summit ends.
Will there be anything said about global warming, do you think?
Well, it's a really, really interesting question because in previous summits for years now leading up to Kananaskis, what we've seen at G7s in the past is standalone meetings specifically dedicated to the environment and climate change. And of course, that's not happening this year because Trump has his own opinions on climate change and the environment. But what the Canadian government has very strategically done is talked about the importance of mitigating wildfires. And this is within the context of protecting communities, and the leaders are going to be talking about that this afternoon. So it's a gentle, more diplomatic way of talking about the environment and climate change, but under a more specific issue focused on wildfires, which of course many G7 countries can relate to, including what's happening in Canada and the US, of course, right now.
Obviously, memories are going back to that 2018 summit in Quebec, where Trump was so disruptive. And this time around, I mean, I think you could argue that it's not just America first, it's America alone. He's spurning longtime allies.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's been the wild card leading up to the summit. First of all, would Trump even attend? And we didn't get confirmation of that until a couple of weeks ago. But the fact that the president has arrived and he's engaging in a number of bilateral meetings. Of course, he met with Carney this morning. They talked about the ongoing trade and tariff war. Those are important, really important conversations to have face to face. And that's why meeting in Kananaskis is so critical. critical. Leaders are going to have a chance to meet not only during these more formal structured meetings where all 7 meet, but there will be opportunities for them to meet bilaterally as well. And to also have these pull-asides where a lot of the real brokering and negotiating of deals get done. So that'll be interesting to watch as well.
Mr. Carney, the Prime Minister, had some tough calls. He invited the leader of India, Mr. Modi, even though India's security services have been implicated in murder in this country.
That's right. And of course, this is a very highly sensitive issue to many, many Canadians. We have, one of the largest East Indian diasporas in the world, and the Sikh community spoke out very strongly against Modi attending this meeting. But look, I think it's really important to reset and rebalance our diplomatic relationship with India, particularly after things fell off the rails, so to speak, with Trudeau and Modi. And I think the Canadian government has made a good case for ensuring that we can get back on track with Modi if we engage diplomatically and also strategically and also economically. India is the 5th largest global economy in the world. Cannot dismiss, the power of that relationship and potential trading relationship between both countries. And also the Prime Minister has been very clear to say that Canada is not going to interfere in the ongoing RCMP investigation. So that investigation into the murder of Nijar is still ongoing. And, the Canadian government is really withdrawing from that and allowing the RCMP to do their job. So I think it's important to have Modi here.